Hey guys, it's Ralph and welcome back to another episode of Danganronpa Another. In the last episode, we started the 4 classroom trial, and now, I believe Mikado said that it's an impossible murder, so let's figure out why she said that. But yeah, the only reason I'm thinking Shinpon murder because it's a locked room, so how does the killer get in and out? Or, my bad, an impossible crime. What did that mean? It's literally what it means. The incident happened, but no one in this state is capable of causing the incident itself. That can't be. I can affirm there's no such thing as an impossible crime in this world. I agree with this. There's no unsolved problem in the world. When a result has happened, it means that there was a series of processes. Then, in this case, how would you explain it? The assert that this was an impossible crime, you gave up on the case. There's a secret that has not yet been solved when your thoughts don't reach to the end. But if neither Kinjo-kun and Makaru, who always knew the critical points of the case, weren't confused enough to say that, it's already a mystery that can't be solved. Shut up. Do I look like I'm panicking right now? Sorry, but it looks like that. It's been a few days now, but these days Kinjo-kun is not Kinjo at all. It's like Maeda before coming to the ballroom. You're being very annoying, damn criminal. Kinjo, why are you saying that? It's not really like you to get emotional so easily. Ignore it. Now we're on trial. This is a life or death war. You take care of someone who loses their temper during a war, you'll have to go through them. There's no other option. This person or that person, I'm done. Again, this case is an unsolved crime. Let's organize the information. Kinjo. First, even if we put on hold Teruya's claim that the crime is impossible, it'll be necessary to look at the case from a different point of view. A different point of view? Retrospect. All of the rethinking we've done so far is based on Kurikawa's testimony. Let's step back here for a moment. Has anyone ever seen Kurikawa spying on the hallway? Oh, had anyone yet? Anyone attest that she's actually telling the truth? Ooh, what do you mean? In short, Kurikawa's testimony is not too blind. But are Kurikawa's words 100% true? She would be hungry in extreme circumstances. Would she bear with that in mind? Lastly, there could be the possibility that Kurikawa was the culprit. When that idea comes up, she could be playing with all of us. Kinjo. Hey, did you go crazy? Did you really flip around that fast? That stuff that comes from your mouth. What? I'm talking about possibilities. At the time of Tomori's murder, during Kinjo's testimony, you put a thread on all of our private doors to prove our alibis. But there was evidence that no one else knew other than Kinjo. It's the same story. Different from that. What I've been doing at the time is what I've been doing before the incident, and this is just simply what you've seen and heard. Testimony. It is meaningless to condemn the truth or falsehood in a testimony. Did you forget what you said? Shit, you got me there. It's utterly disappointing. Kinjo, even though I was thinking you were just a crazy guy, I admitted your reasoning skills, but now, you stopped thinking with your head. But since the situation is quite desperate, isn't Kinjo trying to do everything he can? Kurikawa, if there's no way to prove it? Your testimony, I mean. I don't know why I have to do this. Why not ask Satsuki or Teruya? Huh? You heard about my testimony. Teruya admitted that he entered the arsenal a while ago. What about Satsuki? If I was out at dawn, well, like Kurikawa said, since I'm the killer above top, of course I wandered around at dawn. Even if we ignore the backstory, Dark Circle's testimony is reliable in its own right now. If I were you, I would have known that right away, without having to do this cumbersome work. You're noisy. Allowing your reason kiss the wall is the way to do what you can. Huh, you admit with your own words that your reasoning was blocked now. That's funny. Be quiet, Mikaru. You're on the same level as we are right now. Do you think you're in a position to mock others now? That's enough! I don't even think... I don't know what her real voice would be like. I even got a backup voice for her. That's enough! No, that would not be her. How, how can Kirikawa can have this powerful voice in a class trial? Everyone, don't get worked up. This is a difficult case. We need to regain stability more than usual. So let's calm down and look back from the beginning. There must be something we miss. Sorry. As Maeda says, I was getting too excited. I apologize. Huh? Then, Haruya, Otori is not the culprit. I'm sure up to this point. Even if that's true, we'll have to double check. Haruya, are you really sure you sent the letter to Haru and loaded the bullets? Yes. I'll say, I still can't believe I'm not the culprit. I didn't really read the Monokuma file properly, so in a hurry. I had the right hand ruptured, so I guess I was the one who did it. That's probably isn't a lie. Haruya really thought he was the killer. He said a little while ago, as if confessing, he told us he was going to be executed. It's not likely, but something came to my head. Can I speak? Go ahead. An accomplice! Or, in fact, there were two culprits. How about it? Dismiss. Anyway, are all your opinions from your brain like that or what? I didn't even expect it. Rubbish opinions like that. A story not worth considering. Anything like that, just crumple it. Take it out of your brain and throw it into the trash. That's unfair. I said I'd begin with just thinking my own way. If Teruya had an accomplice, there wouldn't have been a person who objected at the time of him being accused as the culprit, even now. Even if not, Teruya would have confessed everything and made a mistake in the end. But what if there was a real criminal and point out Otori at the criminal, or at the culprit? Everyone except the real culprit dies, right? Can't you think about another development like the culprit used Otori-kun? Oh, you're using your head. But that wouldn't be it. Even if the culprit secretly works behind Teruya Otori to cover up his sins. His sins? Oh. It isn't possible to work without him because of the limited circumstances of the arsenal. And even if there is an accomplice, if we believe using Kurikawa's testimony, the only suspect remaining is Irinami, so she can't be. Huh? Wait a minute. I have a thought that something passed like a flash in my head just now. No! I am the real culprit! You're relentless. Why are you claiming to be the killer? Even after that, you don't know anything about this case. The more you claim to be the culprit, the more you claim your innocence. You still don't notice? Let's organize our thoughts. First, Haruya's not the culprit. He didn't shoot. What Haruya did was call Haru by using a letter and make a trap that explodes the gun by misloading a bullet. And the person who killed Haru himself, in other words, what the real culprit did, what Haruya didn't do, that is, grabbing a gun to kill Haru, mess up the interior of the arsenal, and finally lock the door with a plank and the grenades. Haruya doesn't know what the real culprit did. If we think like that, conversely, does the culprit know what Teruya did? No. The culprit wouldn't know what Teruya did. As Makaru said earlier, what Teruya did was unknown to anyone since he was in the closed space of the arsenal. Unless the culprit directly sees it, or Teruya tells him in advance. Then, who's the killer? It's Satsuki, isn't it? Wait, guys. There's something I want to check for a moment. Maeda? Before Kurikawa watched during the morning, from that point on, what if someone was hiding inside the arsenal? Could there be such a case? Wait. No, I don't think it would happen. Kinjo was tied up, and I saw Akane going to the room before. Makaru, the last time she went to the empty room to the left of the dance hall, she didn't exit the room at all. When did you see this? Well, you're right. I was investigating the empty room all day long. Then, there are only two suspects that Kurikawa has seen, and they don't know what each other have done. In other words, the real culprit doesn't know that Haru received the letter, and they don't know why their hands were ruptured. For some reason, Haru was shot with a gun and killed. Someone who could fit the conditions right now, that turned themselves at the start of the trial. They entered in the suspect view since they moved at dawn. No one else can commit the crime at this stage. But is this person really culprit? If so, why in the world? It's Satsuki. She was saying it the whole time. No way. All of you guys won't want to admit it, but I think I know now. The identity of the culprit. What? Maeda-kun, you know the killer? The person who satisfies all the conditions as the true culprit of this case? can only be you. Satsuki. What? Satsuki's the killer? Hooray! You finally came to think of me as the culprit. Only Yuki understands me. I'm so glad. Wait, Maeda, look at her. She was picked as the culprit, but she looks rather content. You really think that Satsuki is the culprit? Think about it. The only one who can possibly do this is Satsuki. At the beginning of the trial, when Satsuki came out saying she was the culprit, we were trying to interrogate her to see if she really was. However, Satsuki had no idea of the letter that called Haru and his destroyed right hand, which we thought the culprit would know. Of course, so we thought, because of this reason, that she wasn't the real culprit. But take a look. The two things mentioned earlier are actually from Teruya's doing, not the culprits. Teruya didn't know that there was someone who killed Haru by shooting him with a separate gun. On the contrary, did the culprit know that Teruya sent a letter and destroyed his hand? Probably not. It wouldn't be impossible to know Teruya's actions unless he himself told the culprit in advance. Then, the real culprit would be a person who doesn't know why the letter was sent to Haru's room and his right hand exploded, even though they didn't know why his hand ended up that way. And there is someone who meets these conditions. The person who confessed with their own voice that they killed Haru by shooting him, but didn't mention about the right hand nor the letter. That person is Satsuki. Well, I'm not sure what you're saying because it's difficult, but anyways, that's right. It was me. I killed Haru. I think Maeda's reasoning is making sense, but I don't really understand Satsuki-chan's appearance being like that. Why did you do this, Satsuki? Why do you like it so much when you're being named as a killer? Haru, who was close to Satsuki with her own hands, how can you say it so lightly that you killed him? Because Haru tried to use the gun on her first, and maybe she did it as like a mercy killing. Weren't you sad? Think again, incompetent. Of course, it's possible to commit the crime that you said. There's only that woman, but it's absolutely not the reaction of a killer. I'm not crazy, it's very normal. Actually, I don't know why Satsuki reacts like that and keeps saying that she's the culprit. However, I can't think of any other reasoning. Maeda's words make sense. In fact, at the same time, Teruya was not found to be the killer. It was enough to doubt Satsuki because of the circumstances. Maybe, as soon as the trial began, Satsuki couldn't be the culprit. We were stuck in stereotypes, and we didn't think about it more thoroughly. Satsuki, I'll check once more. Are you the culprit? Haru, you killed him with a gun in your hand? Yeah, that's right. I'm the killer. Wait, if you're the real culprit, can you explain why you're so positive? You're like the one who constantly appealed to him as the culprit. I don't know. Just when the trial started, you can bother some to make excuses, so that's why I just confessed. Now, if it's decided, go ahead and execute me. If you sound so refreshingly like that, doesn't sound like you're the criminal, on the contrary. I have my doubts too. In the first place, Satsuki-chan doesn't have the personality to kill. Even though that she is reduced to this point, like Hikaru said, it would rather seem like we're shooting the wrong killer and we're all gonna die together. That's not it at all. I'm just telling the truth. What do I do? It's hard to make sure after identifying the killer that attitude Satsuki had is a reaction that defied understanding, like Hikaru said. Even like this, can I still point Satsuki as the criminal? Everyone stop. Why are you thinking about a crime is possible, but the reaction is weird? Wake up already. The crime is impossible even for Satsuki. Why is that? But Kinjo, based on testimony by Kurikawa, Haru, Teruya, and Satsuki, entered the arsenal at dawn. Of them, Teruya was the first to come out of the arsenal, and Haru entered the arsenal because he was walking through the corridor with Satsuki. Therefore, at this point, if they entered the arsenal together, then that means perhaps it was at this time that Haru used the gun, and this is likely to be true just by looking at the sound of the arsenal opening, and Satsuki coming out alone from the corridor. Back off, Maeda. You said with your own words just now. Satsuki kills Haru and gets out of the arsenal all alone. If she came out, how'd she lock the door then? The clue that you guys found and checked yourselves, right? It is impossible to block the door from the outside in that way. If so, the killer within the arsenal has to wait until Maeda and Teruya opened the door. However, Satsuki came out of the arsenal before this. Does this sound like she could be the killer? That is true. And if you look at Satsuki's reaction, that girl used a weapon, but it seemed like she doesn't know that the arsenal was blocked. So now what? Is Satsuki a ninja now? What was that again? Oh wait, I know. Maybe you don't know, but what if you used the wooden planks of wood as a barricade? Seems you were asleep during the trial. How about it? For anyone who still thinks Satsuki's the criminal, after listening to Kinjo, it seems that Satsuki is really not the culprit. In the end, the problem lies with the arsenal door being blocked. If we solve this, there should be no problem, even if Satsuki is the culprit. Even if you think about it again, is it impossible to put a wooden plank inside the arsenal from the outside with grenades on it? There's no time frame at all. I think the current prerequisites were all wrong. The public here probably won't solve this mystery. I'd rather go back from the very beginning and reorganize the case instead. Well, that sounds nice and all, but I hate it when the trial is taking too long. Don't you know? It's not a warning, but you better wrap things up soon. The alibis of Dawn, Hirakawa's testimony, Ryu's behavior, the wood plank that blocked the arsenal, Satsuki's incomprehensible reactions. Maybe. Have we missed something else? Why does Satsuki have that attitude in the first place? Even Kinjo seems to be confused. Are we thinking it at the very core right now? I think Kinjo is right. Blocking the doors to Satsuki. This is a big problem. My mind is getting more and more complicated. Right now, this is the most important aspect of the case. The arsenal door, the wood planks, the grenades. How to block the door from the outside? Wait, you don't need to go back to the start. If you think about it little by little, it should become clear. It's an utter waste of time. Wait a minute. What's the reason for the flash screen and the smoke screen? At that moment, the doors open. If the kernel hidden inside escapes through the light and smoke, then the trick to block the arsenal from the inside is solved. But I'm afraid not. This was already mentioned. It's ridiculous when you think about Dark Circle's testimony at the very beginning. It's been seen that Teruya Ultori and Satsuki Iramari, both of them, came out of the arsenal. Inside the arsenal, the last one who came out was Satsuki, I'm sure. But opening the door and coming out the arsenal means the door was not blocked until that last moment. Well, in a word, doesn't that mean the body of Haru just left alone the arsenal until just before Maeda and I opened the door together in the morning? What does that mean? It doesn't make sense. It wasn't that the body was alive and blocked the door alone. Oh no, this is starting to sound creepy or somehow. Huh? Akane, wait a second. What did you just say? Wait. That it started to get creepy. No, not that, before that. The body moved and blocked the door? Like a zombie from a movie? Well, of course it won't, since health sciences... Wait a minute. Unscientific! It's like a bear in front of our very eyes. It's unscientific. Hey, what the heck did you just say? I'll have you know I'm a cutting-edge scientific product. The body moved and blocked the door? Of course, a reality like that doesn't exist. But as Tria said earlier, it was Haru alone who remained in the arsenal until the end. No way. Could it be? The person who blocked the door to the arsenal? That person's identity... It's Akane? It's in Korean! Alright, well... Unfortunately, I cannot solve this without help, so I will see you guys as soon as I unscramble all the letters. Alright, guys, we are back, and I believe we have solved the puzzle. Please, let me shoot it. Alright, it was Akane? What the f... That's it! It has to be only him. The identity of the person who blocked the door to your arsenal. Wait, what? Really? Maeda-kun, do you know who the killer is? I don't think you're about to say it was Haru just because the body moved, right? I was just joking. No, thanks to Akane, I could come up with something else. That's right. The only person who could block the arsenal door was no one else other than Haru. Eh? Haru is the culprit? You're saying he committed suicide? Wait, have you forgotten? As Monokuma said, suicide's forbidden. If he kills himself in any way or form, he'll treat it as a dog's death. Haru would murdered by someone other than himself. That's why Monokuma treated this case as a class trial and was held like this. No, Maeda never mentioned he committed suicide. He said the person who blocked the door to the arsenal was Haru. What? Like Maeda said, the person who killed Haru with the gun is the killer, Satsuki. But it was impossible for Satsuki. The task of blocking the arsenal. What was possible for Haru? How about it? This means the reason for why Satsuki can't be the culprit is now gone. No, that can't be possible. The fact that Haru blocked the door to the arsenal is just a simple assumption. That may be possible in this context, and there is no evidence of this. No evidence? No, there's proof of this. I don't mean ill will just because Haru blocked the door without any evidence. Kinjo wouldn't be aware of this evidence. Why did he argue so much? No, let's not borrow right now. Now the case comes first. The evidence that Haru may have blocked the arsenal door is it the bloodstains? Yeah. Like that boy was wandering around. There's evidence. It's the blood. Blood? The blood that splattered in the arsenal? Everyone has seen it, right? Didn't you think it was a little strange looking? Oh, it certainly felt a little weird. It felt like, well, you know, it was a road made by blood rather than a blood spot. That's right. It looked like the bloodstains were wandering around in the arsenal. After Haru was shot, wouldn't it explain he was bleeding while looking for the boards, flash, and smoke grenades? It is possible, but wouldn't it be compelling that Haru himself locked the door of the arsenal simply by looking at his blood? It's not reasoning, but the realm of speculation. But it's not a contradiction. Only Haru has a certain possibility, and even if the culprit dragged the body, there's no reason for it. Only leaves evidence behind. No, it is a contradiction. Kinjo. I can see that all Maeda's words were true. But Haru was murdered by a very cruel killer. Let me ask a simple question. Why in the world would the victim help elaborate more tricks for the killer, if not to leave evidence of their crime? The answer is, you don't know about that. But if you wander around about emotional things and look at only the information left in the case, it makes sense that it is Haru that just closed the door even without the process of elimination method. It's not about being emotional. It's about the victim helping the killer. There can't be such a thing. Stockholm Syndrome? I don't believe in any of that crap. That kind of thing's psychotic. Even that requires the premise that the killer has some kindness and gentle behavior towards the victim. But does this really reflect reality? Did the killer show kindness to Haru? No. Rather, they murdered them in cold blood. Maeda's reasoning is the worst, not to mention forced and far-fetched. Hey, what is this Stockholm Syndrome? It's when victims are held hostage by a robber or kidnapper, but they think of them as saviors, like a phenomenon that antagonizes rescuers, police, etc. And then they take the criminal's side. Kinjo, it's weird. If you were the usual you'd rather ruled out such emotional things and reasoned it out by considering the logical situations. You said I was being emotional? This is natural. You just don't see it. If the victim who deserves salvation agreed to the obvious evil, it becomes impossible to reason with. The choice is not logical here. Saying them is what I have to do. Or saving them, the fuck? I can't leave alone your pretentious reasonings. And besides that, there are loopholes in Maeda's reasonings. I'll just do what I have to do. I'll refute you. Oh shit, is this one? I think the first time we're 1v1ing Kinjo. I'll correct that ridiculous reasoning, Maeda. What the hell are you doing, Kinjo? No, it bet that there's no more to refute here. You're making an unacceptable reasoning from my point of view. That can't happen. And it shouldn't happen. And if there's anything to refute, then I'll do it, Maeda. Skip and slash cycling up, damn. Okay, what do you got? Tell me that makes sense, Maeda. Why would the victim help the killer? Besides, if you looked into Iranami, she tried to kill Haru herself. She said she was shot in self-defense. Make more clues on the culprit. With its own death. Otori testimony is a fucking loaded gun. However, it's impossible for Satsuki to block doors to the arsenal. You know that at this point, it was only Haru in the arsenal who could have done this. Not the unnatural blessings support this fact. Killer moved the body. But Haru was shot in the chest, yes. Wait. No, it wasn't an instant death. It wasn't an instant death. He contradicted himself. Okay. Okay. Ah, shit. I lost the goddamn... Yeah, it wasn't instant death. Bro, how are you gonna contradict yourself? Huh? He is losing it. Kinjo, that's wrong. Haru did not die immediately. You can say what you want, Maeda. As I said, Haru had had his chest pierced. Since the bullet hit his body with a wound like that, it would have no choice but to die immediately. No, Haru did not die immediately. His chest was struck, but the bullet penetrated through Haru without getting stuck in his body. With the amount of shock, it's relatively less than the one that gets stuck. It would have been possible for him to move. Speculations. Anyone can make that claim. Stop it now, Kinjo. It's not a speculation. It's what you, Kinjo, who told me this. Ugh. Incompetent? Is that true? If it's about the bullet pierced, of course I'm well aware of it, but... Was it the cop who told you about this? Yes, during the investigation, I thought he would have died because he was shot in the chest at first, but... Kinjo told me. I heard that his death might have not been immediate, but he could have had trouble breathing. He was able to move for a little bit more time. At that time, I just said it as a guess only. Kinjo, why are you arguing so much? In this case, it's like Kinjo-kun is the culprit. We named Satsuki as the culprit, and Kobayashi did the back work. But why are you so arguing so much? Shut up, criminal! Haru was murdered. He was also labeled as the victim that I had to protect. A victim who deserved protection. But actually on the killer's side? That something like that, it can't be. Kinjo. Yeah, I can't listen to this far-fetched logic. According to your logic, Tomori was also a victim, but in reality, it's actually a terrifying bitch who was planning a crime. Are you saying that you would have tolerated Tomori's murder plan? That's wrong. In that case, it was due to an accident, not the victim. Also, refuting such a subject to the incompetent, which was Haru tried to kill Satsuki, it makes no sense to help him in a situation where it leads more evidence. The culprit. Ah, but look at here. The victim you have to protect with the reverse sword after trying to kill someone. They're very good citizens indeed. No. I am... What the hell am I for so many days? Kinjo? It's snapping. Kinjo! Kinjo-kun is down! Kinjo, wake up! Kinjo! Hey. Hold it right there. We're still on trial. I don't admit going out of the courtroom at your own will. But Kinjo is... Oh, this is a headache. Fainting and getting upset during a trial. It's a taboo to get out of the courtroom during the trial. But I guess it can't be helped. Kinjo-kun, I'll take him to the dormitory. You guys don't have to move. Stay in your seats. Everyone's been weighing this for a while, right? Kinjo arrived safely to his dorm bed, so don't worry about it, and let's continue the class trial. But this doesn't make things fun. Now, Kinjo is outside the courtroom. The fact that he was sent out means that he wasn't the culprit. Now the number of people had decreased by 1. Dun dun dun. What if he fainted? Hear me out. What if he fainted? On purpose? So that while we're on the case, he could go investigate. Oh shit, imagine that. Kinjo, I'm sure he'll be okay. It's the first time that Kinjo looked like that. As Monokuma said, we're still on trial. Forget about him for now. He's not even dead. Is he? Alright. So... Where do we leave off? The culprit is Satsuki. She couldn't lock the door to the arsenal. Only Haru. Is it okay to make this decision then? Does anyone have a different opinion? Different opinion? I think that's the only thing we have. There's no disagreements. Of course, it's logical. As Kinjo said, I also don't understand why Haru, in the victim position, helped the killer. That's, well, I don't know either. After all, it's like we won't get a different decision now, right? Then, if you name me as the culprit, there will be no complaint and no one will be dissatisfied. Wait, not yet. Huh? What else? You said that there was no reason to disagree? Why did Haru help the killer? And why this killer so excited? The same goes for me. Satsuki, the reasoning about this case is over. Perhaps only looking at reasoning results. I can't argue that Satsuki is the culprit. However, why? Why call yourself the killer? Are you trying to die? Why would you ask? Well, like I said earlier, it became a nuisance, so that's a good reason, right? I'm not good at lying, but I think I do better than Satsuki-chan. Don't mess around. You'll be executed if you let this go. But if you die, the truth of the case will remain at the matter that will be solved. I'm a woman who doesn't give up until I know 100% the problem. I've changed. Please, tell us, Satsuki. If you're really all the culprit, you have a duty to take responsibilities for your actions. Tell me, when I thought I was the culprit all along, Akadu would get blamed. What are you trying to hide? Let's hear it, Satsuki. I don't know. I'm just the culprit. That's all I am. Well, she started shouting. I don't know. I'm not saying that. Satsuki. As long as you say it like this, we'll have to force you to open your mouth, Satsuki. About the secret of the incident in which Haru was involved, and the reason for your action, claiming that you were the real culprit all along. Yeah, time to quiet down the clown. Oh, Jesus, what did Romeo and Juliet trial? Not my favorite character. Hey, shout out Tomori, by the way. What the fuck? Should've been the other way, by the way. What the fuck? Your mother. What the? What's it? The reading it's over. Everything was explained. You have nothing more to say to me. The other pistol that broke Haru's hand. Oh. Yeah, because Haru tried to kill Satsuki. That's why his finger got broken by the modified gun. The reading isn't over yet, Satsuki. It's already over. No, it's not. There's one more thing we've overlooked in Cross. Did anyone recall? Was there anything like that? As Satsuki-san, wasn't the reasoning over? It's about the pistol that destroyed Haru's right hand. That's right. Because we decided what Teruya's doing earlier, we went over it. Actually, if you think a little bit, it wasn't Teruya that destroyed Haru's right hand. It was Haru himself. What are you saying? That makes no sense, Maeda. I replaced the bullet and Haru grabbed it, and his right hand got wounded. Stupid fool. If what you said is true, the gun he touched should have been shattered as well. Why would we have one remaining intact? Oh right. To think of it, even when Altori-kun was rushed at the culprit, he said he didn't know why it ended up like that. That's right. I was freaking out for excuses. When I think about it again, if Haru used the gun that I modified, that gun should have blown up. Teruya, are you sure you didn't touch the two other guns? Right, I can assure you this, trust me, I only touched one gun unconditionally. But wait a minute, then won't it get even more weird? Well, Teruya-kun did it, why did Haru get caught in the same trap that Otori did and injure his right hand? That can't be deduced by us alone. Except for one person, Satsuki. I don't know! No, you most likely know why. Satsuki, don't you remember? At the beginning of the class trial, you said Haru tried to shoot you and then you grabbed the gun and shoot him in self-defense and ended up killing him. But here on out, it's just my thoughts. If Satsuki's words were true, wouldn't it have been that Haru knew the gun would explode? He knew it was gonna explode? Deliberately breaking his hand? Was he trying to commit suicide? Maybe so. Let me tell you just this. Just unfounded imagination. Just listen for now. I don't know how someone changed the bullet in the same manner that Teruya did, but it was possible that Haru himself who did it. Since the second half of the trial, the word suicide continued to rattle. Because that case was just too weird to see as an ordinary murder scenario. But in the end, Haru did not commit suicide. Because Monokuma doesn't deal with suicide. Even if he wanted to commit the act, he wouldn't have done it because it just ends at the wasted death. Or perhaps he thought about it like this. Was Haru trying to save Satsuki? Tried to save her? Deliberately aiming at Satsuki, the gun that explodes when shooting. Surprise, Satsuki shoots in response. Even if she shot the floor, she doesn't get hurt and only his hand flies away. And because Satsuki's shot hit him, his death wasn't treated as suicide. Later, when Satsuki leaves in surprise, he remains alone in the arsenal. He himself does the extra effort to make the case even more complicated. Like for example, blocking the door to your arsenal and messing with the guns. Well, of course, there's no evidence of this, it's just my imagination. The fact that Haru blocked the door seemed to be trying to help the killer, but I thought about it at the basis. Haru, in order to save Satsuki, means he gave up on his own life? Hold on, that's plausible, but you always finished with the line adds your imagination. There's 0% chance that the incompetent's words are true. Why? I was looking at my Ada-kun and I was rather thinking that was the truth. Think first. He gave up his life and tried to save someone else? Humans aren't that simple. They would be too afraid to do it. Even in an ordinary circumstance, but it would be even more unreasonable in an extreme situation where there was no food and living like us. But, not long ago, Hatano, or Akane, she threw away her life. Ayame-chan, That's not the case now. At that time, even the most extreme situation wasn't there, and she didn't save Akane with 100% pure intentions. Did you forget? Aime clearly had a desire to help Akane, but she also wanted to escape from here. She committed murder with such a sloppy heart, although she eventually revealed her true face to us. However, in the case of Haru, like Aime, there's not a single reason for themselves, according to the incompetent. He gave up his own life 100% to only save Satsuki. No matter how close Haru was with Satsuki, it would have been absurd to say that they were family members and gave up their own lives in these extreme circumstances. Of course, if that's true, then it deserves my respect. I know, but what I said, it was an unfound idea. You didn't really have to refute it like that. Of course, I'm not saying it's absolutely impossible like that crazy cop. I just don't think so. But it is absurd. If he had been thinking of Satsuki like that, he would have done something earlier, but I don't have a clue. But if Maeda-kuns are wrong, how would you describe the reason for Haru's right hand? I'll have to think about that a little more. Expected, it's not going to work out the way I saw it. Seemed like too absurd, as Makaru said, and it's very difficult for someone to make a decision in order to save her life to the point of even giving up his life. Anyway, there's no objection that Satsuki's the culprit, is there? Do we really want to go over Haru's right hand? I'd like to wrap this up as soon as possible. I'm getting bored of it. No, but we have to know the truth of this case. It's true. What? Yuki, are you a psychic? That's exactly after you've read someone's mind. What are you talking about? I don't feel like an adult to keep trying to hide it, and be a nuisance to all of you. I don't think the trial will ever be over at this rate. And as Yuki said, as long as you commit a murder, you gotta be responsible for it. Satsuki. Where should I start? Oh yeah. So Bathing came to my room early in the morning. You know. Until this moment came out, I couldn't imagine how everything played out. Who is it? Oh, Kobating? What's wrong? Going around at dawn like this? She'll get hungry. I think I'm gonna die of hunger than killed. Satsuki, this is not a joke, so listen seriously. I have something to say to you. Kobating? Huh? Oh, okay, tell me. It will take a little time, but follow me for a minute. Haru, isn't it the arsenal? Why this place? Satsuki, your body okay? You haven't eaten anything in a few days now. Is it painful? Yeah, I'm hungry enough to die, but except for that, I'm fine. But what's it all of a sudden? It's giving me goosebumps. Actually, I have a favor to ask you. What do you want to ask? Kill me. What are you saying? You commit a sin for being a perv? I get it. It's delightful that Kobating is lusting for his girls, but it's not enough to kill you. I said I wasn't playing around! Sorry. No, it was my bad. Sorry I shouted out of nowhere. Oh, damn it. How do I explain this? Haru, are you about to die? I've been thinking all this time. When the division was born, it was our fault, right? If we would have had a little more food left, it wouldn't have been so serious. I can't deny it. Besides, until now, Kinjo was guarding the arsenal so no murder occurred. But eventually, Kinjo went crazy. No one's guarding the arsenal right now. If we don't make a decision now, someone will definitely commit a murder. So, that's what Haru wants to say. Okay. You mean that the two of us are the most guilty will take responsible? Honestly, I didn't want to involve you. It was me who suggested to eat the food. I wanted to end up dying if I could. But I remembered Monokuma's words. The murder case must happen in order to escape the ballroom, and suicide is not accepted. In the end, it can't be solved alone, so you need someone else's help. But the person who helps you will also be bound to be executed for being the culprit. So I'll be in risk of death as well. Yeah, I have no other person to suggest, only Teruya or you, who committed the same crime. You know, me and him are in bad ways right now. Of course, I have no intention of recommending this, but the moment you accept this, you will die, Satsuki. Okay, I'll cooperate. What? I'm saying I'll do what Kobazing wants. So suddenly? Will you be okay with it? That you're gonna die? Well, even if we're in the ballroom, we're gonna die anyways. That's not what I... Rather than staying still like this, and watching my friends become murderers or starving to death, I prefer to stay for everyone and die with Kobazing. Satsuki... Damn it, I'm really sorry. Because of me, you really are a good girl. However, there's one condition. What condition? I don't want to kill Kobazing. So Kobazing, kill me. What? What are you talking about? It's the same no matter what way we die. But why? Do you want to die by my hand? If I become the culprit, I'll be executed by Monokuma. Then, I hate that. I'd rather be killed by Kobazing. You're gonna grab the gun in the arsenal here and kill me. But do you think it hurts a lot when you're shot? Not a pain or problem. I don't like being killed by a thing like Monokuma. You don't want to? No, there's no other way. I can't kill you. Same goes for me. How can I kill Kobazing? Oh, is it the fight for the gun? There's no end to this. Into the fighting. Why don't we sit down with this nonsense? I forget Kobazing first looks at me and suggests an impossible thing to kill him. If you can, why did you accept it then? Then don't do it. That's no good. I've already decided. Then kill me already. Again, I can't do that. I really value Kobazing, so killing my friend is... I'm not happy that I'm your favorite, okay? Wow, Kobazing's face is blushing. Idiot, I'm talking about an important thing here, and we're going back and forth. Not messing around. Oh, my stomach hurts because I haven't eaten anything. Are you okay? You know, we don't have much time either. In fact, it's the fact that I might die tomorrow. In the meantime, the Earth may be playing or planning a murder. Everyone's in trouble. Satsuki, what if we do it like this? Have you ever seen a Western movie? Western movie? Haven't seen it, but I know what it is. They walk back and forth in the courtyard, then turn around and shoot at the same time after some time passes. Yes, let's decide with that. In the worst case of this, we could kill each other, but it's still not suicide, so the other will be able to live. It's uncomfortable that I have to shoot Kobazing, but okay, that would be fair. Let's do it with that. Alright, if it's decided, let's move. Pick up one pistol. Kobazing, are you still not done? What's taking you so long to pick a gun? Well, wait a minute, almost done. He rigged his own gun. Okay, are you ready, Satsuki? I'm not a girl who goes back on their word. Besides, it seems more fun to decide this way. Fun, you say. I already said it again and again, but seriously. I mean, we played a lot of games so far, right? Basketball, running, poker, darts. The result of doing my best without looking at our fights at all. The total was equal. But was it like that? I remember the results of all of our previous matches so far. So probably, Kobazing and I have had 14 matches. 6 wins, 6 losses, and 2 draws. In perfect balance. You really have a good memory on useless places. Suddenly, I thought this was the last game, so it made me feel strange. I can't believe it, that I'm risking my life at all. If you want to give up now, you can tell me. I really don't want to force you. No, because I'm serious too. Like Haru said, I'll stop playing around. Are you ready? Yeah. From here, go back and take 3 steps. We'll shoot at the same time after that. Okay. Holy shit. Satsuki! Harihiko! But how did fingers end up there? That's my biggest question. Haru? Haru! Haru! Why'd you do this? Ugh. But Satsuki, the last game was my victory. That's not what I mean! Why did Haru's hand explode? Sorry. I saw it. This is unbelievable. Let's do it again. I was worried about what would happen. If I died immediately in case I was hit in a bad spot. Fortunately, it looks like I'm still alive. I'll tell you what I can. Sorry, Satsuki. I lied. But you killed me and wanted to save everyone. That's not the truth. What? Who I really wanted to save? What you, Satsuki? Me? It would use information, so I didn't tell the others because it would just confuse them, but I was searching for a few days and I found a badge with the head of Monokuma on it. Because I found it, Monokuma appeared as he would give it as a prize and congratulated me on finding the treasure. That's the treasure Monokuma said? It was really here? There, he showed me a photo of me and you kissing, doing a selfie. Or even at a time like this, what kind of a joke? It's real. It shows our commemorative photo with you as my lover. You shouldn't forget. And then it vanished. Kobayashi and Satsuki, we never done such a thing. It's the same for me too. There are no memories of pictures of me and you, let alone kissing. We met here for the first time a month ago. But why? Doesn't feel odd. Even if that photo was a manipulation, I felt unknown emotions. I thought I didn't want to let you die. I have no idea what you're saying. Haru, stop it. It's too cheesy. Put up with it. I'm already gonna die anyways. I want to say this much. That maybe I liked you after some point. Even if I die like this, there are guys like Kinjo, Makaru, and Maeda, so they'll find out about this in a minute. So you better go back to your room. Act as usual. Pretend you don't know anything. Leave the rest to me. But what are you saying? Why are you saying that, Haru? Stop it. Stop talking. No matter how much they think, they won't know that I, the victim, did all these tricks. Part of it to pretend to shoot you on purpose and give away my right hand. This is a pretty old gun. It can explode when pulling the trigger, even if you put normal bullets on the magazine. Haru, you can't die! No, I am going to die. And Satsuki, you can live. Leave it to me. I can't make someone that cheerful and happy as you die like this. But Kobeising, I'm sorry for doing it in such a crappy way. And when the trial is over, tell the other guy that you're sorry too. I'm sorry that I fought with Teruya. Sorry for sacrificing Kinjo and the others. I'm sorry that my feelings don't want Satsuki to sacrifice herself. Damn, it hurts real bad. Amazing! Don't move! Don't die! Don't die! Of course I'm doing this in order to die. Once you leave, I have to get the job done. You have to go now, before someone sees this. I hate this. This is wrong. I want to save you. Please go. Because it's my last wish. Please listen. I want you to live. But leave. Yeah, just do that. Thank you, Satsuki. What if it's real or fake? I still loved you. God damn it, man. And then I went back to my room. As Haru said, I say still until morning. I didn't know what trick Haru was going to do at the time. I wasn't sure until I heard your story in the trial. That's all I know. Like Yuki said, Kobathing would buy me while intentionally trying to save me, in order to confuse you while doing so. In other words, he did everything in order to save me. What is this? It's too much. Haru was apologizing to me? And I tried to kill him. I see now. If he saw the letter sent by Teruya, he wouldn't go to the arsenal. Nevertheless, the reason Haru went to the arsenal was because Haru didn't even notice Teruya's letter from the very beginning. It was only to sacrifice himself and to save only Satsuki. Hold on. Then why? Why did he did it the same way that Teruya did? The gun exploded in his hand the same way. Unless he did some kind of trick and did it in advance. That's what I thought, though. But when Haru chose the gun, he was doing something in the corner for the longest time. He was the kind of guy who would tell me that the guns weren't fun or usual. So I wonder if he has some kind of knowledge about them. That stupid idiot. He really gave up his life for others? And you just kicked the opportunity that he arranged to let you survive? What were you thinking? I don't understand this at all. I know that Haru liked me, and he didn't want to do this. After all, I've been struggling a lot since then, until the class trial was held. I didn't think that way. Dude, what the fuck? I didn't rather be crying. What the hell? Holy shit. Wow. Wow, what a case. I don't think that way. It's unreasonable for all of you to die just one person, right? I feel sorry for betraying Haru, but I'll be happy if you guys live. How could that be? Blood-related familiar actions are law that puts one's life, most importantly, you? For people you just met? Well, I'm not smart as Mikaru, so I don't think I can give a very cool reason for it. I told myself that I was the culprit, because it would make me more convinced myself that I did this. But then why? Why did you say everything from the very beginning and hide the truth more suspiciously? Because you didn't even say the backstory. You said that you're the killer, so it's rather confusing reasoning. That was because of Haru. He decided to take a chance between all of you in order to save me. Because of this, especially if Kinjo finds out, it would have seemed from Haru's view, who had already died, that I would have insulted him. I did not want to do anything that would put more disgrace on Haru anymore. He'd already died to save my life. That's why I told you at the end. Still, don't think too bad of Haru. He wouldn't have thought of this. And if it wasn't for Haru, we would have all died. Such a thing. It's not possible. Satsuki-chan, are you really satisfied with that? Even if we live, you'll die. No, I'm fine dying. Why are you also worried? I'm fine with my choice. No matter what happened, don't forget to smile. It's one of the teachings of my own brother, and it's my belief too. But after Haru died, you cried, right? That's off topic. Please just think Satsuki wasn't Satsuki for a minute. Satsuki. Yuki. Thanks to Yuki, I was able to do everything. Rather, I feel relieved. Oh yeah, I was impressed to see Maeda come up with the whole truth about Haru. Yuki is a real teacher in my heart. Well then, Yuki. I think we can finish the trial soon. Give me that thing you always do at the end. That. Yeah, that! Climax reasoning! Let's go! Yeah, my tears are ready. I've already cried. Those don't even matter. Holy shit, man. Yeah, so he put the letter down on the floor. And he rigs the gun. Haru looked at the letter like, you know what, fuck it. I don't give a shit about this. And Haru's like, please, come with me. Then they're like, you know what, at this point, let's do a Western shoot-off. And while Haru wasn't looking, he rigged the gun, and then he blew off his own fingers while Satsuki shot him. Then after that, he tried to rig the whole case by wandering around. What the fuck? Oh. Oh, that's what they meant by block. Did he have like the pin like attached to the latch so it would pull? God damn. Alright, let's reconstruct it. First, this case begins with not from the culprit nor the victim, but from Teruya. Teruya couldn't stand the extreme situation and began working on a plan to kill Haru, the victim of this case. Teruya first started to write a note to Haru asking him to come to the arsenal. This was done with a paper and pen that only Teruya had in the ballroom, where there was nothing else other than weapons. Teruya, who had finished writing the note, then put the note through the doorframe of Haru's room. This was the same way that Mitch did it in the first murder. Then, Teruya, who put the note safely into the room, first entered the arsenal before Haru arrived. This was in order to do some work. That task was to load non-standard bullets into a pistol magazine. When a person shoots the pistol in that state, the gun explodes from the inside and destroys the hand of the person who used it. Teruya used this method to let Haru use the gun and thinking of making him shoot. And that's the reason why he went into the arsenal before anyone else. Then he fled like a little Pokemon. Having done everything he needed to do, Teruya quickly returned to his room and waited for Haru to come out of the room. Teruya's plan was to enter the arsenal later on with Haru. However, as Teruya returned to his room and stayed on watch on the hallway, he fell asleep due to the acclimated fatigue. This was everything Teruya had influence on this case. Meanwhile, at that time, Haru was probably having a lot of trouble sinking in his room. As we just heard, Haru was already planning to save someone dear to him at the cost of his own life. Originally, he felt responsible for running out of the food, but the discovery of the treasure was triggered to start this life-threatening plan. As the situation gets more and more extreme, Haru felt like he can't wait any longer and begins to act. He had to meet with the person who had chosen as the culprit for this case. At this time, whether Haru saw Teruya's note or not is uncertain, but it's very likely he didn't pay attention to it in the first place, because he was immersed in its own thoughts. Haru's plan was also a plan that took place in the arsenal, but if he saw the note calling him into the arsenal, he wouldn't have headed there in the first place. Either by luck or misfortune, if Teruya hadn't fallen asleep, a fairly complicated mess would have unfolded. Yeah. After a while, Haru safely met the culprit. Until then, the culprit hadn't even realized the true purpose of this case. Haru asked the culprit to quietly follow them into the arsenal. They went into the arsenal side by side. Damn, what the fuck? One may have thought no one would have known, but in fact, all the action that Teruya and these two were doing while walking around the corridor up to the point were being shown by Kurikawa. He wasn't sleeping from the very start and was keeping watch of the hallway. In actuality, it was Kurikawa that upped most of the weight into solving the mystery of this case. The Teruya went to sleep. The killer and Haru entered the arsenal without anyone's interference. Only then, Haru, who was alone with the culprit, confessed his feelings for them. I think it went this way. Someone was going to do the murder, and asked them to kill it themselves before that to save everyone. This is what they wanted to ask the culprit to do. Once they accepted, the culprit would also be executed for committing a murder. It was certain death, so Haru didn't want to force them into making such a difficult task. But the culprit did not hesitate to respond to Haru's proposal. However, the culprit refused to kill Haru himself. Conversely, they told Haru to kill them instead. Haru did not want to kill the culprit, as the culprit did not want to kill him, and they kept arguing for each other in vain for a while. Haru, who felt there was no end after going like this, was determined to make a fair suggestion on both sides and asked them to shoot each other at the same time, just like a game in a Western movie. In the worst case scenario, both could have been shot and died by each other's hand. It didn't violate the two goals of saving each other. The culprit agreed with this proposal and began preparing. The culprit and Haru were choosing guns for each other, and we heard that Haru was in the corner of the room. This was probably the man to manipulate the magazine with the bullet at this phase. We all know the very consequences of this. Indeed, Haru did the same thing Teruya did earlier. It was loaded with non-standard bullets. How Haru did the same thing at Teruya, I'm not exactly sure whether it was coincidence or not. Maybe it was because Haru, who had a lot of interest in firearms from the beginning, well, I think he accidentally came up with that method by pure chance. Either way, there's only one reason Haru did this. He didn't want to shoot the culprit. The two of them, ready to go, then a few steps away and point their guns at each other after turning around. But even though the culprit sincerely tried to shoot Haru, he was going to lose to them from the very beginning. And so, as Haru intended, his hand was destroyed, and he was shot by the culprit at the same time. The culprit, who couldn't understand the situation, ran to Haru, and Haru told them the truth. It wasn't us that Haru really wanted to save, it was the culprit themselves. Although Haru was dying, he was hoping that the culprit would survive. He said he would do the rest to save him since he still was breathing to do one last act. The culprit was unconvinced, but soon they decided to accept Haru's last request, and left Haru to do the job once they got out of the arsenal. Of course, the trail of this was also being monitored by Monokuma, or by Kurikawa. After confirming that the culprit was safely gone, Haru began the final cleanup while keeping his short life as much as he could. First, Haru picked up the flash and smoke grenade from the arsenal, and likewise put a wooden plank inside the arsenal door between the handle, and then put the flash and smoke grenade on top of it. It could only be done by the person inside, and thanks to that, there was a lot of difficulty when we tried to reason it out. The plank served to make the door to be forced open while being crushed, tying the grenades on top, naturally to fall on the floor and activate. Subsequently, Haru started messing around in the arsenal to make it look like the culprit did it, although it didn't connect to anything. He saw he just struggling around in vain for no reason. And as a result of a repeated series of process of blocking the door and cluttering the interior, Haru's bloodstains were all over the place. Inside the arsenal, creating an unnatural bloodstain like a path of blood. Haru, who finished everything just before his life ended, reached his feelings of satisfaction, because he was able to save someone they cherished. But in the end, later in the trial, the culprits confessed by their own will. However, we weren't able to know that it was Haru who planned all of this. All of this happened at dawn, and later in the morning, Toru and I broke into the arsenal and Haru's body was found. In fact, in this case, the person who would be called the culprit, it was close to Haru. The culprit who just lost his life was the victim himself who had finished this trick. But in the end, Haru wanted to save the culprit, even at the cost of his life. The culprit of this incident, the identity of the killer who Haru cherished and wanted them to live so much. What the fuck? Yo, man, don't give me that whimsy shit right now. That shit is sad. Satsuki Irinami, it was you. Yo, can we get a picture of the Satsuki and Haru? Holy shit, man. This trial. I didn't realize I would cry already in the Danganronpa case. But holy shit, yo, this trial, if I were to make a tier list on like anime trial, then would probably be at the top, most definitely. But you know what? Let me end this video right here because it's actually quite long and I don't want to have the execution be part of it as well. So, thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate it. Until the next video, I will see you guys later. Peace.